Both of these flagship phones got tons of updates in the past year, so I decided to compare the cameras on a summer day. Hello, this is Mo. Welcome to TechMo. I'm going to compare the camera of the Galaxy S25 Ultra versus the iPhone 16 Pro Max after the updates. The iPhone 16 Pro Max is running the iOS 26 version 2, but the Galaxy is running One UI 7. I know the beta of One UI 8 is out, but not in my region. Let's start with the main lens. For reference, this is JJ, and this footage is taken by Sony FX30 cinema camera, so the colors are fairly accurate. In the first photo, the main difference is that Samsung is applying more HDR processing. If you look at the background and the sky, you'll notice the highlights are overblown on the iPhone, since the focus is more on the face. The same goes for the second picture, but there is another visible difference. The skin tone on the Galaxy is colder, while the iPhone's is warmer. In this specific picture, I found the tone of the skin on the iPhone more accurate. If we zoom in 2 times on both phones, we are still using the main lens. Here, both have a similar quality, with the only difference being the slight color variation and the smoother skin on the Galaxy, potentially due to some processing. The way each phone handles background blur, which is called bokeh, is also different. The background blur on the Galaxy looks more like a painting, while the iPhone's is smoother. Generally, with a standard picture profile on both phones, you will get colder images but more vibrant colors on the Galaxy, while iPhone's pictures are more muted with warmer tones. I do feel the vividness has increased in the new version of iOS 26. But still, side by side with the Galaxy, the pictures on the iPhone have less saturation, which is something you may or may not prefer. For this indoor picture in rather low light situation, I again noticed that the Galaxy is smoothing the skin a bit more than the iPhone. Another thing I often notice about the Galaxy is that it tends to boost colors, especially when it is a food picture, as you can see in this one. One thing the Samsung Galaxy S25 Ultra is better at compared to the iPhone 16 Pro Max is the minimum focusing distance when you are taking pictures up close with the main sensor. As you can see here, I was able to get closer to the subject with the Galaxy's main sensor, while the iPhone, if I were to get any closer, the flowers would be out of focus. And this is my skin tone on the Galaxy and on the iPhone. The iPhone is warmer, while the Galaxy is colder. So for my skin tone, I do prefer Samsung because I do feel Apple is making me too orange, and my skin tone is more accurate on the Galaxy. For video processing with the main lens, the colors are very different. The Galaxy is vivid. You can clearly see, for example, that the pink shirt is deep pink and the sky is deeper blue, while the iPhone, both the t-shirt and the sky are more muted. I do find the iPhone stabilization to be slightly better in this test, though especially when I'm running towards JJ. Both the Galaxy and iPhone can shoot in log, which is great news for content creators. Log footage looks dull at first, but if you apply colors to it using lookup tables, you get better colors and more flexibility to fine-tune them. Here I'm using the official lookup table from Samsung to color grade this footage. Apple's log is more versatile, and there is more third-party support for it too, since shooting log with Apple is more trendy. So if you want to strictly shoot in log, I do recommend picking up iPhone. The Galaxy S25 Ultra has 2 telephoto lenses, while the iPhone 16 Pro Max has only one. It has only a 5x telephoto lens, while the Galaxy S25 Ultra has a 3x telephoto lens and a 5x telephoto lens. Starting with 3x zoom, the Galaxy's 3x telephoto lens is rather weak. But even so, in low-light indoor situations, it can pick up more details and take a more clear picture compared to the iPhone 16 Pro Max. But one caveat is that when you take a photo with a 3x telephoto lens on the Galaxy, you get less background blur, since the sensor is smaller. The iPhone gets better bokeh, but using its larger main sensor and cropping from it. Moving to the 5x telephoto lens, the Galaxy has better hardware, which gives it a slight edge over the iPhone 16 Pro Max. But optical quality aside, the main difference at 5x zoom is in the processing. Galaxy photos are a bit colder and more contrasty, while the iPhone makes the skin more orange and the hair lighter in this photo. I asked JJ what she thinks about the photos.
Yeah, the both are making a nice picture. I see they're both good, but somehow I don't like Samsung one as much because it makes my skin tone a bit paler and it doesn't really reflect how I really look like in the real life. For that, I prefer iPhone more.
Where are
And
you
I'm
from?
South Korea. I'm sorry, but I should not be lying, right?
You should not lie. What is interesting though is that there isn't much consistency in skin tones between photos and videos. As you can see here, with the 5x telephoto lens, the skin tone on the Galaxy is now more accurate and warmer, while the white balance on the iPhone is off, making JJ look pale. Going back to photos and 10x zoom, I can tell you, generally speaking, if you want to take zoom pictures, you'll have better luck with Samsung. They apply better algorithms, and their slightly better hardware also helps. Also, with the Galaxy, you can zoom up to 100 times into the subject, while the iPhone is capped at 25 times. Once in a while, I find myself in situations where I prefer to have the extra range. Galaxy also boosts the quality of those zoom pictures with AI and computational photography. You can also take macro shots with both phones. The Galaxy photo is a bit more contrasty and the iPhone's is more exposed, but both captures tons of details. Next, we are testing the selfie camera and also spouting out conspiracy theories with JJ since we are both data scientists.
Horrible.
So me and JJ realized something.
Yes.
They are just making her white, but she's actually not that white. But on Samsung, I'm quite accurate, no?
Yeah,
I'm
I
not
would say
orange,
so.
like.
No, it's only my face. Look.
So they just detect if you're Korean and they.
Yeah, they only practice the model if they have a standard Korean skin that they define.
Actually, that's quite possible. I think for Asians, they just make it whiter. And for
And
brown
you?
people, they
They
didn't.
don't care.
They don't care. They don't train the data on that.
I mean, it makes sense. Why would they need to care? No, I'm kidding.
Let me know down in the comments which one is more accurate for your skin tone. But no matter what your skin tone is, you can get this smart ring to track your activities made by the sponsor of today's video, Ring. I've been using this ring for around a week now, and it is not only super comfortable but also stylish to wear. It has sensors inside to track your activities, stress levels, sleep, and heart rate, and I don't need to wear a smartwatch anymore. The app also works great with the ring and shows your stats like sleep, relaxation status, vitals, and activity at a glance. My favorite feature is the sleep tracking, where it shows me how much I slept last night, with what efficiency, and what stages my body went through during the whole thing. Ringcone Generation 2 is the first smart ring to provide sleep apnea monitoring. You also only need to charge it every 2 weeks. I'll put the link in the description. Now, they have Prime Day discounts, and it is 30% off in the US and 20% in all other countries except Japan. Thanks Rincon for sponsoring this video. Moving to the phones, they both got upgraded ultra-wide lenses. In this picture, we can once again observe that the iPhone is blowing out the highlights in the background, especially in the sky, while the Galaxy is retaining all the details and doing better processing. When it comes to video with the ultra-wide lens, we also see the same pattern. The Galaxy is more vibrant with saturated colors, while the iPhone's colors are more muted. For night photos with the main lens, I observed that the Galaxy raises the shadows a bit more, while the iPhone photos is more contrasty. Also, the Galaxy is a tad more saturated in this picture, especially if you look at the orange light in the background. With the telephoto lens, this photo is a bit too saturated on the Galaxy. Neither the sky nor the building was that deep blue and purple in real life, and the iPhone captured the scene more accurately. For video at night with the main lens, the Galaxy footage is more contrasty and applies more denoising in the processing. The iPhone, on the other hand, is a bit noisier, probably because it applies less denoising and raises the shadows more than the Galaxy. The iPhone iOS 26 camera app looks different from previous iPhones. Everything is more hidden to confuse the user less, which is a welcome change. I definitely noticed that I have a harder time finding things, but at the same time, there is less distraction and fewer accidental swipes on the screen. The Galaxy UI is also heading in that direction, with more and more options being tucked neatly into different areas. But at the same time, the Galaxy Camera app offers much more, like Pro Video mode with all the fancy features such as false colors and anamorphic dew squeeze. If you want to know more about the differences between the cameras and other features of these two phones, watch the full comparison of the Samsung Galaxy S25 Ultra versus the iPhone 16 Pro Max next. Thanks for tuning in to TechMo, and I will see you in the next one.